Okay, this is a piece I did a while ago, quite a while ago actually. It's a piece of avocado wood, and I take pieces that basically were bound for the fireplace, and I lay them aside if they have some interesting grain structure or shape to them. And this one had an interesting shape to it. And the avocado wood finishes really, really nice,
Really?
as you
Yeah.
can see in this picture. What I did with this was something very different. A lot of my sculpture friends talk about my bases, and so I decided that I would branch out to find a base. And I saw this flat piece of pottery at the Laguna Art Festival at the Sawdust Festival several years ago now, and I bought it a long time ago with the idea that I would drill a hole in the middle and be able to mount a sculpture on top of it. And so that's what I did. And so this originally was called Legs Up, and I changed the name to Whale's Tail because it kind of looks like a whale. Nice. And it's great to work with, and it has a very unique smell, scent to it when you're sanding it or grinding on it. It's a smell like I've never heard. No other wood has that kind of scent to it. So
What's the finish, Scott?
it's a polyurethane resin, which I use on pretty much using it.
One side is finished and the other side is natural without
Correct.
sanding.
Mhm.
I like that.
Yeah,
That's
it's actually added polyurethane resin to that side as well. Just
Oh.
usually do one coat just to.
one of the first things I was going to mention as soon as I saw it is the different base that you used, and it's very effective.
Sure.
Yeah, really complemented the piece, I think. I have like probably 15, 20 bases finished.
This is an assignment from Sally class. We got a black and white picture, and then you just recreate the new painting. It's acrylic, and it's on the regular watercolor paper, and I just make it a smaller picture out of it.
Uh-huh. What size is it, Kenitha?
Well, the paper is 11 by 8 by 11, and I just make it maybe an inch, border.
Yeah.
Did you use a sponge, Kanitha, on the green section?
No, it's a brush with a brush.
Oh.
Mm.
It's nice. I
Yeah.
love the color.
Nice complementary colors, but I noticed that this grayish part at the bottom, it really helps to neutralize the complementary colors of the green and the red. It's very nice. This holds it together, this grayish thing.
She actually got a bottom.
Oh, in this piece, I was mostly trying to get texture from adding collage elements all over. And, I think I can see some of them. There's no pattern on the collage elements, but I can see that it raises the surface a little bit and does some interesting things to it. And it's acrylic, and I think I used some pencil and also some, I don't think there's any pastels. I think it's ink and pencil. Sorry?
Are the tent shapes paper?
No, I painted all that.
Oh, okay.
All paint.
Yeah, usually I just stick some collage on, but I thought, oh, let me try to, see what I can do with some paint. I'm doing a series of these.
Uh-huh. I like your title, Circus Antics, because it helps me understand that usually you use more subtle tones, and all of a sudden there's this shock value of all this sharp edges and all. So I think you wanted to make a statement about that a circus is sort
Exactly.
of blaring. I also know, you see this perpendicular line here? It would have been too angular, except that you managed to offset it with this black shape here and this free form here. And I think it makes the thing really nice and balanced. It's
Oh, good, thank you. I also was thinking of putting a little red line to the left where those other little circus tents are. But what I ended up doing is, because red was underneath, I just scraped back the green, and some of it showed up. But it's better. You can see it better in person, but I think it's okay like that without a darker red line.
Yeah.
I think it
Chris.
works very well.
Yeah,
I think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, it's bigger. I'm looking bigger again.
Is this something you've done in Italy now?
Yes.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
part of the Picasso inspiration, and it started out as a black and white ink drawing, but it was kind of bland, so I decided to fill in with colors. And again, this is the figures, the pale colors in the figures are oil pastels that I just wanted to make it look like very, soft, like colored pencils. So I just went over very lightly with oil pastels on the figures, and then painted acrylic background, and the white outline in part of the figures I had to put in to separate the figures from the black background. That's also acrylic paint. So it's a combination of ink, acrylic paint, and oil pastels. And it's a long time ago when I was
Very
taking
nice.
the drawing class. Thanks.
Yeah.
And I just, it was sort of tongue in cheek. I had fun naming it my friends and family.
I love it. I love in the upper right-hand corner, Michael, the way the black goes into your shapes to create that side of the face.
Yeah, and that occurred when I did the black background with the white outlines. That really, you couldn't see that clearly when it was just a black.
Yeah, that looks great.
pen and ink drawing. Yeah.
Reminds me of Picasso.
Yeah, that's the inspiration. Where the definitely inspiration comes from a lot of the primitive African sculptures that he used in some of his sculptural designs. And that's
If you were on a train for 4 days and 4 nights, what would you end up doing? I mean, you can't sit in your seat for 96 hours. So I'm always in the lounge car taking pictures, and I'm always, and seeing I was traveling alone, of course I have to document that I was there. So this is actually my reflection. Let me show you what the original picture looked like. And I'm not sure if I saw myself when I did it, but this is the original here. The city we were whizzing past was Las Vegas, New Mexico. And so I thought all this, the geometric lines and all these black shapes.
Lovely. Like it.
Well, I'm not sure. What do you think? I did start off making it with including these black rectangles and all of this stuff, but then I thought it might have been distracting, and so I went to this, where I just made an abstract of the face with the wall. Which one do you think?
Very nice, Joan.
yeah.
I like the second. I like what you did to remove all of the other. I think it's right. There are distractions.
Okay, so
I like the original, actually, also.
Me too. I like
both.
this. I like this one.
Yeah, if you crop the top and
Right.
exclude the windows, but keep everything else.
just
I think that background is distracting in this view.
try to get more.
I think this one is just fantastic. It's a
It's a
great.
very good composition. Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't give a lot of context, though.
Well,
For me, Joan, there's not enough contrast.
so Chris prefers
No, I think if you put some of the darker,
some of the dark
color.
stuff. Okay, well,
just some,
I hope Joy will forgive me, but when I saw Joy's two new pieces, and both of us being Buddhist, and the title of her pieces being Lotus, my Buddhist radar went up. So I hope I hope she tried to say what I thought she meant to say.
Okay.
This stuff up here, Joy, this stuff up here is entirely my doing. I added because people that aren't Buddhist would not understand the symbolism of what a lotus flower is. And I kind of looked at your painting and I got it. A lotus is used in Buddhism as a symbol. The lotus grows in mud like we do. We're always in suffering and having all kinds of existential angst, and you know it. But even though we come built with all these life situations, the lotus manages to grow out of the murky water and become this beautiful flower. So we can certainly rise above. We have the potential to rise above our attachments and desires. Now, is that close to what you were thinking? I just guessed. Go ahead, Joy, it's your painting.
Yes, yes, thank you, John. Thank you for explanation. Yes, exactly. Yeah.
I thank you for that explanation too, because it brings that, to me, it just adds to what I see in the painting, which is, as always, gorgeous.
This is what I mean. Joy, she's been trying to be an abstract painter, but now I think she's finally got it. I see so much inspiration here. It comes from her heart. She's trying to express. I see the mud at the bottom. I see the black mud. And then instead of being so obvious and putting a flower, she's got the dabs of red in there. And this is really,
I agree.
this is abstract that's inspired.
Yep.
Yes,
Yeah.
very nice. Yes, it's very nice.
And again, Joan, thank you for your explanation, because I did not know that. And it just brings so much more meaning to Joy's painting.
Yes, it does.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Thank you, John. And you helped me to talk. That's great. Yes.
But
Beautiful.
then she has another one that this is watercolor, and then she sent in an acrylic that's different, but it's also quite an inspired piece of work. There's the mud on the bottom.
Yeah.
That's pretty.
Yeah.
Good, Joyce.
You know, what I saw here, I'm sorry for talking so much, Joy, but she's got a luminosity in her painting here where I see it in Chris and Phyllis and people that use a lot of layers, and I haven't seen Joy work with this much layering and having this luminous quality in her work. I think she's made it.
I agree.
It's
Yeah.
gorgeous.
Yeah,
Very
thank you.
definitely.
Just try the color I don't use often. And
Well, you need to take out the word try out of your vocabulary. You
Yeah,
did.
not too-
Yes.
I think the first one makes a greater statement.
Yeah, it's more interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, to my way of thinking. But I agree with Joan. I love the luminosity, and then that one area that is the lotus, if you will. But I think the first one makes a greater statement now that I know about the lotus.
You know, I don't find this. I find this a little bit distracting because of all the different colors that are in it, and and Joy, I love your work. I think it's fantastic. But for me, this piece is just distracting with the reddish, the blues, the yellows, browns.
Got it.
Yeah,
Those-
and that may be, it's just my color blindness. It's
Yeah, this one looks like more like an experiment,
yeah.
where the first one looks like a finished product.
Of course, we all perceive differently. And
Absolutely.
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, this one here is, you know, this reminds me of the Chinese calligraphy. We've all seen these
Yes.
Chinese
Yes.
ink
Mhm.
paintings and all.
Yes.
Well, keep going, Joy. This is the way.
It's great.
Thank you. Thank you.
This is an acrylic. No. What am I saying? This is charcoal with ink and some acrylic. And actually, some of the reflections are because of the ink, which is, I guess it's an India ink. It's the P.H. Martin. It is not an acrylic ink. It doesn't have pigment like that.
And the gray background is the charcoal, right?
Yeah, what happened is I came in with some acrylic paint, and very light, pale acrylic paint, and it may have been a white even, and the charcoal grade caused it to go gray. So I thought that was kind of an interesting effect.
Yes.
Wow. Beautiful.
The way you brought the gray down to the base too, that's good.
Yes.
Mhm.
Mhm. Are the flowers the ink too, Carol, or are they paint?
Some of both, actually, ink with some paint on top. I use some of the acrylic in some cases to pop out the color a bit more. I did not on the vase. The vase is just the ink.
I love the way the flowers bring it down to the base.
Yes.
On the left.
Did you put together this still life arrangement, or did you use a photograph? Or
No, actually put it together.
yeah, it's nice arrangement.
Fabulous.
Well,
Position and the colors are beautiful.
Beautiful.
Very nice. Thank you, Carol.
It's a piece that the 12 by 2 by 2s they sell with a lot of people who do wood turning. They make pencils and pens and things like that out of it. And it came in, I don't know where I got it from, but it's either Paduk or it's a Red Heart. And so when I say it's in progress, I'm in the process of threading 800 beads onto a piece of thread so I can give her a bead dress.
wow.
Oh.
Beads.
Ah, wow.
That's going to be on it.
Very, I adore it just the way it is. It's so simple, and the form of it and the lines just like that.
And it's got a lovely grain. That's why I submitted it this week. So the grain that's underneath we can see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Because I agree with Joan. The simplicity of this figure is gorgeous.
Yeah.
And although I'm sure the beads will enhance it, I guess I'm saying I want to be careful because I hate to see this beautiful figure destroyed.
I understand.
You know,
Just remember to tread lightly because it's a beautiful finished product already, and you don't want to go overboard.
Thank you.
absolutely. I agree, Joan.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I did a while ago, and a few years ago, and I wanted to get a background that expressed something, energy. So I decided that would be the energy part, and then I just put the silhouettes of figures, using that energy.
How did you get the circular portion, Liz, where the purple and they look like little dots? How did you do that with watercolor?
Oh, between salt and,
Okay.
letting the water dry and so on.
Got it.
And several layers.
I like the movement of the figures, Liz. I think that to me is actually more interesting than the cosmic background. I love the movement of the figures.
Thank you.
I want to explain that I have Phyllis's thing on 2 slides. This is the whole painting, and then she's got a close-up that I think could stand alone.
Wow.
But
Obviously a mixed media piece with a lot of metallic in it. And the reason I wanted to show this one is that I call this portal to the past, and the figures to me represent totems. And my husband is bothered by the totem that I have as a focal point, which is why I wanted to show it to get impressions from others in the class. I think
it's an important part of the composition of the totem.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Okay, I do too, because, so many of the totems, one of the areas they exaggerate is the eye or the eyes. And this, of course, is a lot of paper in it. And when I found this piece and worked it into the focal point, I really loved it. But as I said, Bill was bothered by it.
I like it. I think
That's just his hang up because it's the important part of the composition.
Yes.
Okay, good. Because, of course, as I say, a lot of papers. And in this one, I used more things than I typically do in that not only did I use metallic paints, but I used some powdered pastel for some of the shading effects. And then I also used Stabilo pencil in areas in the focal point. So quite a few different things in this one.
In the upper left, that's the powdered pastel, the drops, sort of the drips coming down, or the teardrops. Yeah, all that.
No, not actually. It's a piece of paper that I used first of all, and then I glazed it several times and wiped off. So
Right.
there's no pastel there. The pastel is primarily along the kind of the copper on the right-hand side, and then a little bit within the focal point, but that's mostly Stabilo pencil.
How did you get the texture, Phyllis, on the, you know, the section on the upper left?
This stuff.
That's a paper.
Oh,
It actually is a paper that's made up of numbers. And
oh,
it's
I see them now. I see the numbers now. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, it's a hand. Originally, I was going to go a different direction with this, which is why I had that paper, but I didn't like where it was going. But it worked well in this, and so I just kept it and just kept on glazing over it to minimize the effect of the number, but retain the texture.